Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the official episode 1 of WagmiTV. Following our pilot last week, we're back with another great show for you guys today. Have some interesting topics to discuss, as always. I'm joined by my absolute fellas, Doc Mata, NFT Garcia, and All-American Smith. How we doing, fellas?
Doing good. Cheers.
Great.
Cheers, boys.
Evan's fresh off a ski trip, feeling good.
Real bender. Somehow gonna make it through the episode.
He's falling over his chair at the end of the episode.
Yeah. I just tumble.
P2E, P2E, P2E.
Topic for today, actually. That'll be later, though. Anyone got any thoughts on the market so far? We got a little pop today, but overall, it feels like we're a little bit range bound right now. Obviously, Russia and Ukraine still impacting the markets. Oil markets going absolutely crazy. Anyone got any thoughts on what's going on?
Oh, I mean, today was pretty interesting here. I'll share my screen really quickly. Some super cool news, right? Cryptocurrency policy right out of the administration there from Biden, seeking to lead the way in tech, right? These are some of the things that I think we're having us pop a little bit more, right? It's giving a little bit more confidence in the technology piece and a little bit more confidence to the cryptocurrency space as a whole when, a country like the United States starts to recognize it.
So what was did you actually dive deep? I saw headlines on this and it was, most people I was reading were saying that it was bullish and that some of the rally can be attributed to it. What was actually bullish about it?
I think, so one of the main pieces, right, it's like, what does this mean for financial advisors moving forward, right? So it's, obviously in the past, it's like, don't really recommend this as part of your portfolio, that sort of thing. I think this opens up a lot more of that clarity. And with that clarity comes a lot more money, right? Think of all these financial advisors recommending, okay, so 1 or 2 or 5% of your portfolio should be cryptocurrency, right? Think about how much money that just unlocks to just throw into the market just because of the recommendations from financial advisors, right? That's like one example. But I think it's just the idea that it's being talked about and it's being prioritized. I think that gives a lot of, potential growth to the space as a whole. So I think there's a lot more to it. I didn't dive too deep. So if you all have other pieces.
No, I think to your point, Mata, like there's now validation to institutions coming in, like institutions that hold other people's money to invest it. Like before you had to kind of explain like a little bit probably for yourself, like, cause it's crypto and like, there's not that much confidence behind it. But if the government is actually, not sponsoring it, but in a sense, regulating it to how they see fit, could bring in more institutional money. I think the flip side of the coin is like like bears are worried about it becoming more centralized. So really like the tippy toe is like, can it become regulated without becoming centralized? Because if it becomes centralized, then it's basically the crypto has no point,
Yeah, exactly. Which I know CBDCs or central bank digital currencies have been really hot topic, right? I mean, if you join crypto for, really the driving force behind cryptocurrency, it's doesn't really align with that, right? Like, yes, it's digital, all that's great, but that central piece, right? Central banks, right? The idea is become decentralized, get this away from one singular source. So it will be interesting to see how that all develops as we move forward here, because I know that's been a really big piece for them. But I mean, bottom line, some sort of regulation needs to come about. I think some regulation is probably good, right? As we talk about the rug of the week, rug pulls happen all the time. It's the Wild West out here, right? So some regulation needs to happen. It's just a question of at what point is there too much regulation and are we taking away from kind of the space as a whole and what it's meant to be. It should be exciting to see what happens from there.
No, I think definitely you guys bring up a lot of good points. If you actually look back and like look at the thesis behind a lot of these, like Kathy Wood's like 250K Bitcoin or 500K Bitcoin, a lot of it has to do with like an inflow of institutional investors into the space. And so if this is potentially opening the door for that, then yeah, I totally totally, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. And I mean,
Um,
Garcia brought up an amazing point, right? With all the institutional money coming in. I mean, that's a lot, right? And so these rules should kind of help create a lot of that trust, a lot of that acceptance in the cryptocurrency market. And with money comes further development, right? I know we all hate VCs, right? We all hate VCs, but everyone who gets backed by a VC, I swear they pop off. I mean, it's been crazy. Luna lately, they had that huge round of funding. And that was
guys,
part of the first
I wanted to
drive
show you guys this.
Yeah, are you still holding your Luna or what?
Like, look at this. So
jealous.
I found
No,
this.
dude,
I found this, and this was really interesting. So one sec, let me share here. Okay, so I told you guys about DeFi Llama, right? You're able to see basically like on kind of like each of the blockchains, like how much total value locked within the protocols and stuff like that. You can kind of track it over time. It also shows, a lot of the top protocols within each of the blockchains and stuff like that. So you can go to like, Avalanche or whatever, and you can see some of like the top protocols in terms of TVL, and their like market cap to TVL ratios, what's TVL? Total value locked. Okay. So like basically the amount of like money that's in the protocol right now being like, that people have put into the protocol.
Right. Yeah. It's a big piece for kind of developing what that value looks like for a lot of these DeFi focused teams.
Right. So speaking of Terra, look at this chart. I mean, literally in the last, like, what is this? In the last month, the TVL has gone from 15 billion to like 30 billion. It's literally doubled.
When was
this is the only, like, if you go with like Ethereum down, I think it
surpassed like Solana and all them for the most
BSC,
stakes,
like
right?
pretty much flat. Phantom going down, like Avalanche pretty much flat. Solana going down. Tron, like every single one of these except for Terra's just blasting off. Super interesting though. I noticed that today and I wanted to share it with you guys because we were talking about in our chat like Terra just going off.
Terra's a stable coin, right? So it's
no.
Oh, it's not.
That's UST, but they go hand in hand. Yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. It's like
does that correlate with the VC funding at all? Like when was the VC funding?
That was let me see the exact date. It was just in the last like 2 weeks here.
Because that's crazy for it to double. Like there has to be some. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be, but like I would assume that there's at least something that's making it like some sort of catalyst. But
has there been any news, Zoe?
I mean, they with that. I think today they surpassed the most staked. Like they surpassed Solana and all those others, which is a big deal.
I mean,
which is where that TVL comes from. 1 billion on February 22nd. It says.
Oh, that's literally, that lines up perfectly with when it went.
It's like the beginning of that run. And then it's just good news. So kicking myself a little bit, everybody, for not buying at 50. So
yeah, I don't have any either.
Next time, huh?
There will always be more. Anyway, all right. So I think we can kind of get into the topics for the week here. So I have a little bit to show you guys on Strongblock. Now, I know we've discussed this in the past. Strongblock, kind of the pioneers of the nodes as a service model, started their node program.
Nodes as a service.
Cool. Yeah, started that.
It's a better word than Ponzonomics.
Yeah. That's true. I will say they do admit that it's not sustainable, and so they're working to fix that. And that's part of the update that I have for you guys today is we always talked about, obviously, hold on, first of all.
And you're saying not sustainable because, as someone that's basically facilitating a node, you're not getting any kickbacks from that cryptocurrency like you would with a proof of stake or proof of mining, like being a miner in that ecosystem or a staker. You're not getting anything back to that.
So they're not actually running. They do have some Ethereum validators So just to give folks some context, I've been following this project for about 6 months now. I'm invested in it. I have a few nodes, and really kind of aped into it without knowing a whole lot, but then like ended up following the project for a long time. Like I've been a part of their AMAs. I follow their Discord and their Telegram and everything that, their CEO and stuff kind of says. And so, you look at this chart and you're like, why is this happening? Right? Like this thing was absolutely on fire. And now it's going down. The way the tokenomics work for those who don't know, right? You have to buy 10 strong, and that gives you 1 node. That node is actually like, they aren't actually creating a node at the moment, right? They're raising capital to then figure out how to generate revenue, basically, right? And so what happens here is, if you picture a supply and a demand curve, and I can link a really good Twitter thread that I read on this. At the beginning of a project like this, you have a lot of demand, and as more and more demand comes in, like obviously the price goes up. But those people are basically taking it's not like a usual coin where like the buyer of the coin then has the coin to sell, right? All the buyers of the coins, at least most of them, are going to make a node and then like basically give up their coins to have this node. And that node produces 0.1 strong per day. And so in order to basically break even on 1 node, if the price was to be completely stable, that would take 100 days, right? And so you have a lot of people who got in. I mean, this chart doesn't go far back enough, but this graph was way, way lower like a year ago. So you had a lot of people who noded up back then and have basically been cashing out on top of new investors in the protocol, right? So this is where the Ponzonomics kind of comes in. But the thing is, they understand that this is the case, and their team time and time again in their AMAs and everything has said, like, this is all we think about. Like, all we are trying to do is to get this to a stable place, to a sustainable place. The problem here, when you end up in the last few months, is you have so many people who are done basically with their noding. They're not making any more nodes. They're not compounding their nodes. They're not buying new nodes. They're just cashing out. And if the new investors dry up, the new investors that are basically keeping the price high or keeping the price elevated, then this is what happens, right? So that was one thing, is the sustainability. Like that's an issue. What's happening right now is there's so many nodes out there that they have to pay out the rewards for, right? And if there's not enough new nodes being created, they're running at a deficit. And this is, I think, what I showed you. I can also link this. This is a really good dashboard that shows a lot of different like data analytics on Strongblock. This is the thing that I was showing you, though, where this is their community rewards wallet. And you can see up until about December, it was fine. They were like working with pretty much an equilibrium in terms of like new nodes being created and rewards that they had to pay out. Since then, they've been operating at kind of a deficit, and you can see this rewards wallet being depleted, right? And so this was getting a lot of people worried. Like, oh shit, if the rewards wallet runs out, then like how are they going to keep paying us other rewards, right? In the latest AMA, David Moss, the CEO, said there's nothing to worry about. You guys will keep getting, first of all, they're figuring it out. And this is what this light paper that I'm about to go through kind of illustrates. First of all, they're figuring it out. Second of all, one of the biggest things from the investors and like, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but basically from the investors' wallet, I forget exactly what wallet, but like from like the owner's wallet, basically, they're deploying, I think, 50,000 or 100,000 new strong tokens into the community wallet as like a show of like, we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. We're going to make this happen. Right. So basically they put out this light paper, right? 2022, basically a preview of what they want to do in 2022. They understand, and I'll link this as well. You guys can read through it. It's definitely a good read, and you guys should read through it to get all the details. But the key issues here, right, that they want to address, the key problems. One is high gas cost. Two is sustainability. On the high gas cost, a lot of people in their kind of in their Discord and in their AMAs would complain because you have to pay a gas cost to claim your rewards, and you have to pay another gas fee to create a new node. There's really no reason that should be two different transactions, and you should have to pay two different like gas fees. That should just be one transaction, right? So this is one thing that they're addressing. The next is what I was kind of talking about in terms of sustainability, right? They realized, long story short, they realized that the current way things are, it is not a sustainable thing. They can't keep giving these rewards forever because their wallet will run out, right? And so how are they going to combat that? One is tapering, right? So tapering happens right now with Polygon nodes, where the Polygon nodes actually start out when you first make them rewarding you more than just an Ethereum node does. It actually starts out higher and then over time tapers down to below an Ethereum node. So in that way, they're basically, what it seems like is once people start making these, over the long run, they'll have to pay out less and less in rewards for these nodes, right? So that's one thing.
So really quick,
yeah.
Is there any other utility for the Strong token other than buying another node?
Yeah, so I think this is what they're going for with this new thing. The other thing that they're doing is releasing their own chain, right? So they're literally creating their own blockchain. And this is their idea of how they're going to get revenue from outside of new investors in the protocol. So basically they're creating their own chain. They're going to have a crap ton of nodes, right? Like they have so many nodes already. Nodes as well as miners are necessary for a blockchain to like function, right? And so by creating their own chain with a new token that has better tokenomics, this is their goal to how they're going to get to a sustainable future, basically, right? So in the AMAs, like, the CEO has talked about like projects that are interested in like, once there is a strong chain, like deploying on strong chain, things of that nature. Also, like all the gas fees, all of everything that's done currently on Ethereum, that will actually end up being revenue, or at least money that stays in the ecosystem of Strong that can go back to, the investors, the holders, the node holders, basically.
So they're basically creating a new blockchain, a new cryptocurrency that, their roadmap is fixing the gas problem, like a lot of the proof of stake ones but it sounds like that they want to be able to hook into the Ethereum blockchain even better maybe than some of the other proof of stake ones that are out at the moment.
So what I just gave you is the bullish picture. This is all, in my opinion, bullish news, because A, they understand that the sustainability is a problem and they're actively going to fix it. B, they have like a plan to actually do it, right? Now, the issue is a lot of this stuff is still like, there's not a whole lot of detail in this light paper. They do say it's a light paper, which like, I mean, a ton of projects don't even have these. So I appreciate them putting them out, but there's still a lot to be answered. That there's no doubt about that. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm assuming the first question people are going to answer is like, hey, why would someone choose Strong over Ethereum?
Exactly.
Like why?
Versus on our Avalanche or
They say here that Strong Chain will be a place where the community can benefit from the chain itself. The way they've described it is that they are literally creating this chain for the holders of Strong first and foremost.
Right. And
in order to make this a sustainable like reward system.
So they're less trying to pull in a bunch of other people, but they're more making this for the ecosystem that is there now in order to make the processes a little bit better within what's working right now with Strong, rather than pulling away from Ethereum and Avalanche
Yeah.
and all the
Okay,
others.
that makes sense.
The
They're just
way I
trying
was,
to help the people who are in the ecosystem now. That's how I'm interpreting this, but I could just be
yeah,
just spitballing.
there was
through.
discussion about this in the AMA as well, and that's what I got. That's like the gist of what I got. Like, they're not necessarily trying to compete with an Ethereum or any other like blockchain like that. I don't think this is like a community first kind of approach at how they're like looking at solving the issues that they're running into today.
Which, you know, I think when you're running through this, it almost kind of sounds like a lot of these NFT collections that we've looked at, where they have their own tokens for the community, and you're buying in. The interesting thing about this is that it's like they got to this solution in almost like a backwards order. Like, it feels like it's something that you would have had this on the roadmap to start, and then, you know, kind of moved with it to build the community and the token and the blockchain together, where it seems like they're kind of coming to this a little later than, you know, some other NFT projects.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
from following them, I do think they had to pivot a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the original idea was to like get a bunch of nodes and reward those nodes, because right now miners get rewarded, but nodes do not really, right? That's why they wanted to be the first people to like reward nodes, right? What they found is, like, I don't know this for sure, but like what it sounded like is that a lot of different blockchains like don't necessarily want to or have the ability to pay for nodes. And so this, I think they did have to do a little bit of a pivot last year. I do think so. What's interesting is that this model, though, has now been copied and copied and copied. Like, these guys' code gets forked all the time. There's a new strong fork out like every day, every week, whatever, right? On different chains. And like, so there's a lot of people, like, I think it's a very innovative way to raise capital, even though it's like a little bit like definitely like Ponzonomics-y. And it seems like every project that's doing this is going to realize that, okay, this is not sustainable, and we need to figure out a way to get it sustainable, right? And the ones that do figure that out are the ones that are going to survive. The ones that don't are just going to go to zero, like, because there's no other way for them to go. Because eventually everyone's going to start cashing their rewards out, right? Like the tokenomics, like eventually there's going to be a point where the new people dry up, right?
Yeah, you gotta have a product.
And they get left holding the bag.
I would encourage you guys to go and just look this guy up, David Moss, and like look at like what he has to say. Like, the reason I think that people are bullish on this project over a lot of the other node projects that are basically forks of this one is the team. The team has been very transparent throughout. They could
fully
be
doxed, right?
They're fully doxed. They have like one of them, like this guy has a background. I forget what company he worked at, but the CEO has like a background in blockchain, in crypto. One of the guys was like high up at Nike. Like, the whole team is doxed. You can check them out on the website. I think a lot of people are just betting on this team to make it work. And also the community is extremely strong. I will say that, like, no pun intended, but like, like the community is very, very strong. And the people who are fans of this are strong. I personally think this is a bullish update, but I'm with you, Ev, where it does leave some to be answered. I'll leave with this before I pass it to Ev. This is their roadmap for 2022. So they have things that like they just didn't even mention in this, really, like the entangled nodes, the sizable nodes. I have no idea what these are. I have a hypothesis that it might be that you're able to get involved in the project, because right now there's a high barrier of entry, right? You need 10 strong to get a node. Maybe they're releasing like another type of node or something where you can get rewards by investing like a smaller amount, right? Obviously the Q1 is like the big thing of Q1 is going to be the stronger transition, the new token, how that's going to work, and everything like that. They also have node transfer and node marketplace on the list, which is, I think, huge, because if you're able to actually trade a node, that will change the whole game for sure.
Does that mean they're
and then-
definitely incorporating NFT technology?
I don't know. Like right now they have NFTs, but just like those NFTs that you have, like just give you access to new protocols or like new node protocols that they have, things like that. They give you, I don't know exactly what they give you, but it's nothing like what we're talking about in terms of like actually being able to have a node, like the NFT be the node itself, right? It's not like that.
I think that's pretty interesting because when you look at some of like the decentralized exchanges, like those are marketplaces that don't have a Coinbase or like a shareholders that like have invested interest in it. If you could think of these nodes as like a product in themselves, you could see it where Strong could create almost like a decentralized marketplace for buying and selling nodes on different blockchains. And if that becomes a more profitable business in the future, then all of a sudden, like they're a great place where you can easily swap and buy a node for like, without the trouble of like the startup.
Right. Interesting. Definitely. We'll keep keeping you guys posted on Strongblock.
Yeah, so do they
Definitely
have
kind of an
a,
OG project. So sorry, what?
do they have a white paper for this, or is it just the light paper with the update?
So they have an original, they have like a original Medium article that I can link. I'll send it to you guys. But yeah, they have.
Yeah,
like,
keep us
they
up
have,
to
like,
date on this because this is interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting
Yeah,
stuff, and I
yeah.
don't know a ton about this area. So
Yeah. No, I definitely will. Definitely will. I follow this project pretty heavily, so I'll absolutely keep you guys up to date. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, it was a cool chat for sure. I think now we're gonna change pace a little bit, switch directions, a little crossover spin move over to Ev
All
to
American.
talk about
All-American.
P2E Gaming.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's see. All right. Let's see. What can I kind of? Actually, let me restart this. All right, 1 second, guys. Sorry, the whiskey's hitting.
Feeling himself.
Ev,
right.
you've been buzzed all week on the mountain, dude.
Dude, for 6 days.
It's a lot of white powder.
And 6 nights.
All right. So can you guys what screen do you guys see at the moment?
Cheaters are ruining Call of Duty Warzone.
Cool. Okay. So we're gonna talk about P2E Gaming, which is pay to earn gaming. Essentially, if you've ever played Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, Wii, what have you, you buy your $60 Modern Warfare or FIFA 20 game, and you play, and you basically don't make any money. It's just you're just chilling, getting competitive, but not making anything off of
For the art of the game.
Yeah, for the love of the game. But what's crazy is that like this industry, the e-gaming industry has taken off in the past couple of years. I mean, it's what, 20-40 billion business in the past year, probably even more than that. I think we saw Activision get acquired by Microsoft for 68 billion in the last couple quarters here. I mean, there's a ton of money in this space at the moment. These gaming studios are making just absurd margins on like what they're putting out. And a lot of times it's on some bullshit. It's like they switch up the Call of Duty game, they add some new guns, and they make everybody pay another $60 for it. And still you got kids that are, playing Fortnite 12 hours a day, grinding, professional players, and they're making $10,000 a year or $20,000 a year. So there's a lot of problems in the e-gaming industry at the moment. And I think blockchain could offer some interesting solutions to some of the problems. And yeah, I think the two biggest ones are that the players are getting compensated, and that cheating is very common. Like it's very common to get on Modern Warfare or Call of Duty, and some guy's got some hacks on his Xbox or his PC, and he's just auto sniping you across the map. It's it's terrible.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Coming from a place of pain.
This guy's getting a nuke in 25 seconds,
Intervention, no scope.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems. So a little background on pay to earn. Essentially, it's just a business model, a gaming business model that relies on blockchain technology. The blockchain is used to pay players with cryptocurrencies. So essentially, you're winning your battles. And because of that, you're getting paid in these tokens that are unique to the game. You're not getting Bitcoin, you're not getting Ethereum, you're getting these tokens that are like unique to the game. And a lot of times these games aren't available to buy on an app store. Essentially what you have to do is buy an NFT or a couple of them, and that's how you're able to join these games. And so, it's something like we've seen recently be a little successful. I think we've all heard of Axie Infinity, but that's kind of the game I want to run through with you guys, just to kind of run through the tokenomics of it, the mechanics of it, and how players get paid. So let's see if we can hop over.
Yeah, Axie absolutely went off last year. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely curious because, like, what the fuck is this? Looks like shit.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Welcome to NFT.
Like, what? What is this?
No,
I'm
I
actually
mean,
curious too. So
in all reality, like this game is dog shit. Like there is
and it's
nothing
when
good
it's
about
starting.
it.
It's the
Yeah.
vision that it's starting. Right?
Yeah, it's one of the
Right.
first to take off. I think it's like 90% of its community is based out of the Philippines, and it's just these guys on Twitch. Let's see if we can just do this. Let's go on to Twitch here. Go to Axie Infinity. And we can see some dudes playing this.
You gotta poison this dude. Spends one net.
So it's a pretty low-key game.
He's gonna be at 3 energy going.
What is this guy's name? Danny Boy Doki?
No. Goran Jean.
Wait, what?
Drunk
No, this-
Gora top 100 possible. But yeah.
Oh yeah, look at him going. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got an audience too.
Yeah, and so you'll go through here, and they like these guys have 78, 100, like a couple hundred, whatever. But the biggest thing is like you'll go to these other games, Apex, and like this guy's got 7,500 people watching him, and he's not getting
Right.
paid for playing this game, right? He's getting paid just for streaming, and that's his source of
Right.
income. And so that's kind of what these like pay to earn games are trying to solve. Is the only way that these guys can make money is if they stream on Twitch or YouTube or whatever, and they get donations.
Yeah.
Or
No,
if he
I
calls
got
out
you.
that energy drink and get some sponsorship.
Yeah, that's actually hilarious. Yeah. But okay, so in August 2021, the Axie NFT, which is essentially you got to buy 3 of them to start the game, or to participate in the game, was between $5 and $10. So it was like $15 to $30, and then you were good to go. You could play. In September 2021, so what is that? 1 month after, the NFT's average price was $200. So it essentially 3,000x, and you had to pay $500 to $600 to even be a part of like the game if you wanted a decent NFT to start with. So it kind of creates this dilemma where these games, as they become more popular, they become less, or they create larger barriers of entry. It's like difficult for
Yeah.
like you just to hop in.
So what's interesting, I'm just thinking of this right now, just out loud. Like, so if I'm playing Apex or COD or something,
Right.
I can play for free. No problem. Right? I just have to buy the game. I can play for free. With these games, you have to play to earn. I can play for free on COD and I can just not earn any money. Right?
Yeah.
For here, you're playing to earn for sure. I feel like there might be some sort of middle ground there where, like, maybe if you wanted to just play for free, you could, and like you could just play the game,
Right.
So are you
versus
not
like,
able to play the game? Like, I think, isn't the token utilized in the game as well, like to upgrade things, or it looks like buy cards and
Yeah.
things like that? So you can either use it for that, or you can actually cash that out as real fiat money or something like
Yeah,
that. Is that how
they've
that
got
works?
a 14-day holding period. But once you've held onto that token for 14 days, you can go to an exchange and swap it out.
So what you're saying is the barrier to entry is so high. So in that regard, you wouldn't be able to play for free. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean like,
yeah, or just like some people just want to play the game for the game and not to earn any
Totally
money.
get what you're saying. Like, I feel like
And
that's
not
gonna,
to,
like, I feel like it's gonna come around to that. Like, I think not to keep harping on NFT worlds, but like what makes that unique is that you can choose whether you just want to play Minecraft or do you want to play on the NFT world and earn. So like Minecraft players can spend half the day just playing on their Minecraft servers and then half the day playing on an NFT world server earning money. So it's like, do you want to play casual or do you want to play to earn money? And I think we're going to see more of that stuff. Like Axie is like one of the first ones, and they created their own game, and it was for the purpose of this. But I think, like Evan said, it's like a stepping block towards something else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think with some of these games like Fortnite, Apex Legends, I don't think Call of Duty had it, but there's competitive modes. So there's basically modes where you can go in, you don't have to there's no leaderboards, there's no history of your wins, losses. But with some of these other game modes, they're keeping track of it. And I know in Apex at the moment, there's a ranking of the top 700 players in the world. And so with modes like that, where you're actually being like the amount of points you get in the game, so it's like kills plus like your placement with games like that, where it's almost like judging your game style and your performance, I could see it becoming like a very good use case for kids to earn money.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, I think this honestly deserves its own episode. So I feel like we
Yes.
just run this for the next episode.
I'm down.
All about P2E gaming, because there's
Yeah,
just so
dude,
much to cover here.
This is
and
amazing,
It's just
Ev.
like I'm very intrigued. I have a lot of questions. So for the listeners, for next week, stay tuned. We'll have a deep dive on P2E gaming. For more, come back next week, same time, same place. Take care, guys. Thanks again for listening. And have a good week. Signing off.
tag me?
Peace.
Peace.
Later.